afternoon. It's Thursday, July 9. I'm Mai Rodriguez for your midday report. We'll be giving you the story shaping the nation at this hour. In the headlines, hundreds of passengers are stranded in ports while government agencies ramp up preparations as Super Typhoon Inday, which has weakened to typhoon category, moves closer to Batanes. Vice President Sara Duterte's Chief of Staff, Zuleika Lopez, appears before the Senate after the impeachment court issues a subpoena. The International Monetary Fund and Asian Development Bank lower their growth forecast for the country amid the global energy crisis. And Justin Bieber will co-headline the halftime show of the FIFA World Cup finals with Madonna and BTS. Hundreds of passengers are stranded as sea travel was suspended in anticipation of the effects of Typhoon Inday. The Super Typhoon has weakened into typhoon category, but it remains a massive storm nonetheless, and authorities are ramping up preparations. Affected passengers are spread out across over 20 ports in Luzon and Southern Visayas. Kumuha tayo ng detalye mula kay Ryan Reloban ng Abante. Ryan?
Stranded ang mahigit 500 na pasahero habang pansamantalang natigil ang biyahe sa dagat ng ilang bahagi ng bansa dahil sa epekto ng Typhoon Inday. Sa pinakahuling tala ng Philippine Coast Guard mula alas 4 ng madaling araw hanggang alas 8 ng umaga ngayong July 9, umabot sa 507 na pasahero at 147 na rolling cargos ang hindi pa makabiyahe sa 23 na pantala na apektado ng sama ng panahon. Kabilang sa mga naapektohang lugar ang mga pantalan na nasasakupan ng Coast Guard District Southern Tagalog, Coast Guard District Northwestern Luzon at Coast Guard District Southern Visayas kung saan pansamantalang itinigil ang ilang biyahe upang matiyak ang kaligtasan ng mga pasahero at tripulante. Samantala, 150 na sasakyang pandagat ang pansamantalang sumilong dahil sa masamang lagay na panahon, kabilang ang 69 na barko, 54 na motorbangka at iba pa. Patuloy naman na binabantayan ng PCG ang lagay ng panahon na operasyon sa mga pantalan kasabay ng pakikipag-ugnayan sa mga port authority at lokal na pamahalaan upang matiyak ang kaligtasan ng mga biyahero at iba pang gumagamit ng karagatan. Pinayuhan din ng PCG ang publiko na patuloy na subaybayan ang opisyal na weather bulletin at makipag-ugnayan sa kanilang shipping company para sa pinakabagong impormasyon hinggil sa schedule ng mga biyahe. Balik sa iyo, Mai.
Thank you, Ryan Reloban, nag-uulat. Government agencies have implemented preemptive measures and pre-positioning of resources and manpower in areas that may be affected by the typhoon. The Philippine National Police has also placed search and rescue teams on standby. Lade Kabagani is on the phone for more. Lade, go ahead.
Yes, Mai, the PNP activated its disaster preparedness and response protocols ahead of the expected impact of Super Typhoon Inday. PNP Community Affairs Division Chief Colonel Jonathan Abelias said all police regional offices, national support units, and other concerned units were placed on the heightened operational readiness to ensure public safety. The PNP said search, rescue, and retrieval teams, quick response teams, and other disaster response personnel are on standby for immediate deployment. PNP rescue equipment, patrol vehicles, communication assets, and other emergency resources have also been inspected and pre-positioned in areas that may be affected by the typhoon. The police are also coordinating with the Office of the Civil Defense and the RRMC, local government units, and other response agencies to support a preemptive evacuation, secure evacuation centers, maintain peace and order, and provide traffic management. Also, PNP Chief General Jose Melanchon Retartas Jr. has directed all police commanders to closely monitor the situation in their areas and immediate respond to emergencies and request for assistance. The PNP is urging the public to monitor official advisories from PAG-ASA and other government agencies, follow evacuation orders from local authorities, and avoid traveling to areas at risk of flooding and landslides. Meanwhile, OCD placed Metro Manila under blue alert as Typhoon Inday is expected to enhance the southwest monsoon and bring heavy rains across the NCR. The OCD also opened its virtual emergency operations center to facilitate online coordination while its physical emergency operations center will remain operational until Saturday. MMDA warns heavy rains could trigger flooding, particularly in low-lying and flood-prone communities. The government pre-positioned its emergency response equipment in strategic locations nationwide. That's the latest about disaster preparations. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Lade Kabagani, reporting. Typhoon Inday is heading towards southwest Japan and Taiwan. Pag-asa says landfall over the Philippine landmass is unlikely, but storm signals have been raised in several areas. Let's get the latest on Inday. Joining us now is BNC meteorologist Benison Estareja. Benison, ano ang latest?
Yes, meron tayong update po regarding kay Typhoon Inday. As of 10 in the morning, ito po ay last located at 865 kilometers east of northern Luzon. It has maximum sustained winds of 165 kilometers per hour. So patuloy po yung paghina nito at kumikilos ng may kabagalan northwest at 15 kilometers per hour. So tulad ng nabanggit niya Ms. Mai, unlikely pa rin po na ito ay maglaland for tatama sa ating kalupaan. Subalit malawak pa rin itong bagyo, nasa around 1,700 kilometers ang diameter niya at posible pa rin mag-cause po ng malalakas po na hangin within the next 24 hours. So meron tayong signal number 2 over Batanes, signal number 1 naman over Cagayan, ganyan din ang Isabela, northeastern Quirino, Apayao, northern Abra, Kaninga, eastern portion ng Mountain Province, eastern portion of Ifugao, Ilocos Norte, northern Aurora, at sa northern and central portions po of Catanduanes.
Benison, so even if there's no direct impact here, hindi daw magla-landfall dito si Typhoon Inday, malawak nga siya, like you said, this is still a dangerous typhoon. So paano ba dapat maghanda ang mga LGU, ang mga kababayan natin na maaapektuhan?
Yes po, if we're talking of Northern Luzon, ito yung mga pinakang malapit po dun sa bagyo, no? Bagamat sabihin natin hindi nga siya magla-landfall and hopefully prepared na po sila no, in terms of yung mga possible impacts lalo no sa may Batanes, merong malalakas po ng mga hangin dyan. Yung pag number 1, ang effect naman po ng strong winds, parang minimal to minor lamang po. No? So sa ating mga individuals na nandoon po, make sure na reinforce pa rin po yung bahay nila para hindi po lumipad naman yung kanilang mga kabahayan, lalo na yung mangyari sa light materials. Yung natitirang bahagi ng bansa, affected po ang ng southwest monsoon naman or hanging habagat. No? So from today up until Sunday, we're seeing na magkakaroon po ng mga heavy rains and we're hoping the local government units po will act on those areas po na posibleng magkaroon ng mga flooding, lalo na yung mga malapit po sa mga ilog at possible din po yung mga landslides sa mga bulubundok po na lugar.
How much rain are we talking about, Benison? Gaano kadaming ulan ang inaasahan natin from the enhanced habagat? At nakikita natin itong large wind field ng typhoon at ng habagat na sasakupan yung northern Luzon, western sections of southern Luzon, kasama na ang Palawan at western Visayas. Gaano kabigat ang ulan dito sa mga lugar na to?
Actually, mas magiging mabigat po or maraming ulan ang ibabagsak po dito sa mga areas na affected po ng habagat. So tulad ng nabanggit ninyo, we have the western and southern sections of Luzon. Ganyan din po ang halos buong Visayas and then the western section of Mindanao. Even yung southern parts dito sa may Sarangani and South Cotabato, Sultan Kudarat, nagkaroon na po dyan ng mga pagbabaha. No? At yung dami ng ulan ay variable din po. No? Pinakamararami pa rin doon sa mga nasa western side or yung facing po the West Philippine Sea. Itong Occidental Mindoro, Palawan, plus Antique. Sila yung posibleng mag-cause po ng hanggang 200 millimeters per day na dami ng ulan. Ito yung mga ulan na magkukos po ng maraming pagbaha sa mga low-lying areas, mataas na chance na po ng mga pagguho ng lupa. Variable po, depende yan sa inyong lugar. And then other areas, kabilang na lang po yung Metro Manila at yung mga nearby provinces po, nasa 50 to 100 millimeters. So that is equivalent to light to moderate with the times heavy rains on Friday and Saturday.
Okay, when do we expect the weather to improve? By Sunday ba maganda na ang panahon?
Well, paglabas po nitong si Bagyong Inday sa PAR on Saturday morning, ito ay magkukos pa rin po ng enhancement ng southwest monsoon. So maulan pa rin po for the entire Saturday. By Sunday naman po, kahit siya ay nasa may eastern China na, meron pa rin effect yung southwest monsoon at magkakaroon pa rin po ng paminsan-minsang malalakas na ulan dito sa may western Luzon naman. So that includes Ilocos Region, Zambales, Bataan, Benguet. Even dito sa Metro Manila, medyo maulan pa rin po ng Sunday, Calabarzon and Mimaropa. Then Monday po ang magkakaroon na ng gradual improvement.
Okay, maraming salamat Benison Estareja, BNC's resident meteorologist. Typhoon Inday is moving northwest over the Philippine Sea. Though it won't make landfall here, some areas like Batanes, Cagayan, and Isabela are at risk for heavy rains as the typhoon will be enhancing the southwest monsoon or habagat. Let's check the situation in Cagayan, which is under signal number 1. Chad Gatchalian joins us from there. Chad, where are you exactly and how is the weather there right now?
May clear sky and still prevailing in barangays in Gataran, Cagayan. Residents are seen doing normal routines as no evident weather disturbance could be observed as of this moment. According to Pag-asa, Typhoon Inday has officially slightly weakened as of 11 a.m. this morning. But despite the clear skies and that development from the typhoon, Cagayan Valley, along with many areas in northern Luzon, is still under tropical cyclone wind signal number 1. According to the State Weather Bureau, Typhoon Inday was last seen around 865 kilometers east of northern Luzon, moving northwestward at 15 kilometers per hour. The Cagayan PDRRMO assured all for assistance like land, floating, and personal deployment are already in place. Meanwhile, Alcala LGU has already prepared the evacuation center for possible evacuees, depending on the impact of Typhoon Inday and the enhanced southwest monsoon or habagat. Other preparations of residents include putting plywoods on the windows of houses to counter the possible strong winds of Typhoon Inday. Family food packs are also already in place in these areas. Cagayan PDRRMO said Cagayan is still under state of calamity, declared last April. Assistance distribution like relief packs stockpiling are still being done in about 800 barangays. Mai?
Chad, Pag-asa said a landfall is unlikely. So, paano ang paghahanda ng mga kababayan natin dyan sa Cagayan at ng LGU?
Mai, that's right. All is not expected, but the enhanced southwest monsoon and the periphery of Typhoon Inday are both forecast to bring strong to gale force gusts over these areas, especially in coastal and upland towns. Later, Mai, once we reach Santa Ana Municipality, we will try to observe the condition of the seas areas there and check as well on Santa Ana conditions. So far, according to Cagayan Provincial Information Office, LGUs are already coordinating with their residents and other agencies to prepare for the possible impact of typhoon. Although it has weakened, the preparation of the residents here are still ongoing and they're not downplaying the impact of southwest monsoon or habagat also that is seen to be by Typhoon Inday. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Chad Gatchalian, joining us from Cagayan. In other news, Vice President Sara Duterte's Chief of Staff, Zuleika Lopez, arrived at the Senate this morning. The impeachment court has issued a subpoena requiring her to appear and testify in the Vice President's trial. Hannah T. is joining us live at the Senate. Hannah, what's the latest?
Mai, prepare for Typhoon Inday. That was the brief but pointed remark of the Office of the Vice President Chief of Staff, Zuleika Lopez, when she visited the Senate earlier this morning, a day after the Senate Impeachment Court issued a subpoena for her to testify. According to Senate Secretary Renato Bantug, Lopez came to the Senate for a coordination meeting on room assignments and staff access during the impeachment trial of VP Sara. With the first week of the trial now over, Lopez has been summoned as one of the House Prosecution Panel's witnesses in connection with the Article 4 of the Articles of Impeachment, which involves the VP's alleged threats against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. The alleged threats were made during an online press briefing in November 2024 after Lopez was cited in contempt and detained by the House over its investigation into the alleged misuse of confidential funds. At that time, the House had ordered her transfer to the Correctional Institution for Women, but the transfer was not carried out after VP Sara intervened and Lopez suffered a medical emergency. She was instead taken to the Veterans Memorial Medical Center, where she remained under house detention until her release days later. During that briefing, Mai Duterte said she had allegedly arranged for an assassin to kill the president, the First Lady, and Romualdez should anything happen to her. When asked whether she would appear before the Senate Impeachment Court, Lopez declined to comment. Mai?
Hannah, kailan daw ba inaasahang magte-testify dapat itong si Zuleika Lopez sa impeachment court?
Mai, it is expected that Lopez will testify on Tuesday, July 14. Bago yung kanyang pagtetestigo sa impeachment trial, mauuna muna ang witness na si Present NBI Regional Director Jeremy Lotok sa July 13, Lunes. Then on July 15 naman, the House prosecution is set to present si House Legislative Security Bureau Executive Director Belinda Bello, who served the House order transferring Lopez to the Correctional Institution for Women in Mandaluyong City, the same transfer that was never implemented after Lopez was hospitalized nga during the 2024 standoff doon sa House of Representatives. Mai?
Hana, ang prosecution ba pinaplano din na mag-request sa impeachment court na i-subpoena si VP Sara during the 11-day trial period for this case na focusing on the grave threats?
May katunayan nung araw na pumunta rito si VP Sara, yan yung isa sa mga hiling ng House Prosecution Panel because for them, since nandito na rin naman na si VP Sara noong Tuesday, ay dapat na rin siguro siyang humarap before the Senate Impeachment Court. Pero sinabi ng Impeachment Court, according to Presiding Officer Cheese Escudero, na kay VP Sara yan kung gusto niyang umattend dahil karapatan naman niyang mag-appear before the court through her legal counsel na ginagawa nga ngayon ng kanyang kampo. Mai?
Thank you, Hannah T, joining us live from the Senate. It is a gamble. That's how the former dean of the FEU Institute of Law described the prosecution panel's move to present Vice President Sara Duterte's Chief of Staff, Zuleika Lopez, as a witness in her impeachment trial. Attorney Mel Santamaria told BNC's On Point that the prosecution must carefully calibrate its strategy as Lopez's testimony could either work to their advantage or backfire if she refuses to cooperate.
Sabi niya, takot na takot. Kaya alam ko po, inang pakay lang ni VP Sara. I mean, she could say anything. Hindi siya pipigilan.
He said the move is likely a strategy with Lopez possibly being called as a hostile witness, meaning she could testify in a way that is unfavorable to the prosecution.
There's a difference between your witness and a hostile witness. Your witness, you cannot ask leading question. Yung bagang question, yung sagot nasa loob na. Halimbawa, nung Tuesday ba, nasa palengke ka at bumili ka ng manok? Leading question yun. Sasagot mo lang, yung abogado na nagna-narrate. Iyon, hindi pwede yun sa witness mo.
A political commentator believes that the 16-vote threshold to convict Vice President Sara Duterte is not set in stone. Jesus Falsis told BNC's The Spokes that no one should be allowed to vote and be counted in the voting if they did not participate in the impeachment trial. He also said part of being a judge is observing the demeanor of a witness, including their reactions and how they answer to questions, to determine if they are credible.
So sa akin ang argument ko, it's actually a violation of due process ng state or ng prosecution if you count senators in the mathematics for conviction.
Okay, yan, nakakahinga na tayo.
Due process
Thank you
for
so
the VP,
much.
due process naman for the prosecution. So it should be 14 out of 21.
A threat is still a threat. That's what the House Prosecution Panel stresses as it presented its witness and evidence in their case to prove that VP Sara threatened the lives of the first couple and former speaker. May live report si Isaiah Mirafuentes mula sa Batasang Pambansa. Isaiah, go ahead.
May kinatapos nga lang ng isinagawang press conference ng ilang miyembro ng House Prosecution Panel at kabilang Mai sa mga natalakay ang naging closing statement ni Attorney Mark Vinluan, isa sa mga miyembro ng defense team. Ayon kasi sa kanya, kaya raw nabanggit ni VP Sara ang muna'y pagbabanta sa buhay ng first couple at former House Speaker Martin Romualdez ay dahil sa na-trigger raw siya ng tila Operation Romanov dahil umano'y may nagbabanta rin raw sa buhay ni VP Sara at ng kanyang pamilya. Subalit ayon sa prosecution panel, threat is a threat. Kahit anong dahilan pa ay hindi katanggap-tanggap na magbanta sa buhay ng matataas na opisyal ng gobyerno at kumausap pa ng mamamatay tao. Ayon sa isang miyembro ng prosecution panel na si San Juan Representative Belt Zamora, naniniwala siyang ang tila Operation Romanov ay kathang-isip lang ng bise. Imposible raw kasi na magawa ng first family na pumatay rin ng tao. Ayon rin Mai sa prosecution, hindi naman din napatunayan ng depensa o ng kampo ni Vice President Sara Duterte na hindi totoo ang mga nagawang pagbabanta ni Vice President Sara Duterte doon nga sa isang press conference na naganap noong November 2024. Mai.
Isaiah, let's talk about this further. No? What about the defenses? Yung sinestress nila na conditional daw ang sinabi ng bise, would it still be considered a threat?
May ayon sa bahagi ng prosecution panel, no, kahit pa ito ay maituturing o sinasabi nila May na isang conditional threat, para sa kanila, ito pa rin ay maituturing na betrayal of public trust dahil nga ang kahit anong uri ng threat daw ay maituturing pa rin na labag sa batas, lalo na ang binantaan daw mismo na ikalawang Pangulo ay ang pinakamataas na opisyal ng Pilipinas at maliban din dyan ay may nakausap raw kasi o inamin mismo ni VP Sara dun sa video na may nakausap siyang assassin na papatay mismo sa first couple at former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Mai.
Isaiah, what is the expectation now of the prosecution sa susunod na linggo?
Yes, May, no, kabilang nga sa inaasahan nating haharap na sa susunod na linggo sa impeachment court si Attorney Zuleika Lopez. At ayon mismo, May, sa prosecution, inaasahan nila na mas marami pang mga objection ang mangyayari sa impeachment court dahil nga ituturing nga isa sa mga key witness o hostile witnesses si Zuleika Lopez, kaya inaasahan nila na gagawin daw ng depensa na hindi mailahad ang lahat ng impormasyon para mapatunayan nga na nagbanta si VP Sara sa buhay ng first couple at ni Romualdez. Mai.
Maraming salamat, Isaiah Mirafuentes, live mula sa Batasang Pabansa. Up next, Kanlaon volcano erupts. We get the latest from Negros Island after the break. Stay tuned to Midday Report. You're back on Midday Report. Malacanang clarifies the purpose behind the appointment of Ben-Hur Abalos as Cabinet Secretary. The palace also pushes back against the defense's claims over the so-called Operation Romanov in the impeachment trial. Ivy Reyes joins us live from Malacanang. Ivy, go ahead.
Yes, Mai, Malacanang, or following Ben-Hur Abalos's comeback as Cabinet Secretary, Malacanang clarified they're not reviving the office of the Cabinet Secretary, which was scrapped in 2022 as the President's first executive order back then. We've yet to get updates from the palace on what the office of Abalos will be called following this denial, but the palace was clear on one thing. President Marcos and Malacanang wanted Abalos back on in the government to further organize his cabinet. Instead of managing cabinet secretaries or cabinet meetings, Secretary Abalos is tasked to go around the Philippines and ensure that the programs of the government are reaching the people. Malacanang said there is no need for another executive order to carry the secretary's appointment, as the president has plenary powers to appoint individuals he deems necessary in his government. The secretary's position is different from that of Special Assistant to the President Anton Lagdameo, as he will focus more on reaching out to our people, according to the palace. Contrary to reports, Abalos was not considered for any other position other than being a cabinet secretary. Right now, the only paper Malacanang has is the one containing the terms of reference of the secretary's appointment. Mai, on impeachment matters, Malacanang once again points to the arguments of the defense bench and calls it the lowest argument possible to insinuate that President Bongbong Marcos has any involvement in the alleged Oplan Romanov. The statement that the defense said that Vice President Sara Duterte was only reacting to an authentic threat against her life. As for Malacanang, the burden of proof is not on the president, but on the vice, who was invited by the NBI to accommodate her side of the story, but never showed up. Malacanang adds that whether or not Duterte was speaking as a mother or a public official, grave threats against the highest official of the land are not justifiable. Malacanang also used the vice president's own words in that Zoom video, where she said, and I quote, "No joke, no joke," referring to her threat of sealing a deal with a hitman. Since the vice president never not once denied these words, Malacanang said there is no debate on the authenticity of the threat against the first couple and former Speaker Martin Romualdez. And Malacanang also didn't want to assess the first week of the trial, but they did say that it went well. Though it's not within the bounds of the executive, Malacanang said it went well. Mai.
Thank you, Ivy Reyes, joining us live from Malacanang. Let's check the situation in Negros Island, where Kanlaon volcano had a moderately explosive eruption this morning. PVOC says the eruption lasted for 3 minutes. Ryan Gamboa is reporting live from Negros Occidental. Ryan, how's the situation there?
Yes, my authorities have confirmed a moderately explosive eruption, prompting heightened monitoring by PVOCs and disaster response agencies. Local governments are also issuing precautionary advisories as they assess the situation. Here's what we know so far. At around 7:30 this morning, a moderately explosive eruption occurred at the summit crater of Kanlaon volcano. According to PVOCs, the eruption lasted approximately 3 minutes and generated a dark gray ash plume that rose to 2 to 3 kilometers above the crater before drifting eastward. Initial observations also indicate pyroclastic density currents, or fast-moving clouds of hot ash, volcanic gases, and rocks descending the volcano's southeastern slopes. These were observed to have remained close to the summit crater. Alert level 2 remains in effect, and PVOCs continues to prohibit entry into the 4-kilometer permanent danger zone due to the threat of further eruptions and other volcanic hazards. Meanwhile, the city government of Kanlaon has advised residents in areas affected by ashfall to wear face masks or use a damp cloth, remain indoors whenever possible, keep doors and windows closed, and store clean drinking water in case local water sources become contaminated. In Talisay City, Cebu, Mayor Samsam Gulyas has also issued a public health advisory. Children, senior citizens, pregnant women, and people with asthma or other respiratory illnesses are encouraged to stay indoors. Residents who need to go outside are advised to wear face masks, keep windows and doors closed, stay hydrated, and seek medical attention if they experience breathing difficulties or eye irritation. Classes have also been suspended in Minglanilla, Cebu. Acting Mayor Leslen Enad announced the suspension of classes at all levels today as a precaution following the Kanlaon eruption. Residents are likewise being advised to stay indoors and wear face masks when going outside. The Philippine Red Cross has activated its emergency response network, placing rescue teams and RC-143 volunteers on standby. As of this time, no ashfall has been reported in Negros Occidental, although rain mixed with volcanic ash has been observed in Kanlaon City, Negros Oriental. Roads, bridges, and other vital infrastructure remain passable, and no evacuation centers have been activated. Authorities continue to closely monitor the volcano as local governments and emergency responders remain on high alert for any changes in volcanic activity. My authorities continue to closely monitor Kanlaon volcano while emergency responders remain on standby. Residents are urged to stay calm, follow only official advisories, and avoid the permanent danger zone while alert level 2 remains in effect. We continue to monitor this developing story and bring you verified updates as more information becomes available. Back to you, Mike.
Ryan, how's the assessment of the air quality dyan sa ngayon? And the amount of ashfall, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ba yung ashfall?
Yes, Mai, as of this time, we are located in central to northern Negros, and there is no ashfall in our area. We are here in Silay City, but the wind is blowing from south to southwest. That is why there is light to moderate ashfall in certain towns and municipalities like La Carlota, La Castellana, and Bago City. I think one of the hardest hit, especially when the rain mixed with the ashfall, was Kanlaon City, which is closer to the crater of Kanlaon volcano. We continue to monitor as possibly this report will change. As we can see, there are also precautions being taken in Cebu City as the winds are heading in that direction. Mai?
Thank you for standing by. Ryan Gamboa reporting live from Negros Occidental. The Philippines is facing a more challenging economic outlook this year as both the International Monetary Fund and the Asian Development Bank have lowered their growth forecast amid the global energy crisis. Chesulit is on the line for more. Check.
The International Monetary Fund has cut its 2026 growth forecast for the Philippines to 3.9%, down by 20 from its April projection. The IMF says the Philippines, as an energy importer, is more vulnerable to higher oil prices caused by the Middle East conflict. It added that economies that import energy but have limited participation in the global technology value chain are expected to see weaker economic activity, as they are less able to benefit from the ongoing AI-driven technology boom. The IMF also warned that risks to the global outlook remain tilted to the downside. It said a renewed escalation of the Middle East conflict could prolong volatility in commodity prices, further disrupt global supply chains, drive up prices, and tighten financial conditions. Meanwhile, the Asian Development Bank lowered its 2026 growth forecast for developing Asia to 4.9%, citing persistent disruptions in global energy markets. For the Philippines, the ADB downgraded its growth forecast to 3.8% from 4.4%. The ADB said its lower growth outlook reflects delayed investments, weaker private consumption due to higher commodity prices, and climate-related risks. The ADB said Southeast Asian economies are expected to face slower growth due to higher import costs, rising inflation, weaker domestic demand, and softer tourism. Back to you, Mai.
How is this outlook going to affect Filipino consumers?
My economist Jonathan Ravella said the forecast suggests a more challenging environment where job creation may slow down and households would still be sensitive to fuel and food prices. He urges the government to keep inflation under control and boost both businesses and consumers' confidence to expand growth. Mai?
Thank you, Chesulit, reporting. The Energy Regulatory Commission flags the high number of unexpected power plant outages in the first 6 months of the year as some areas continue to face tight power supply. Nasa linya ngayon si Charmaine Abong para sa karagdagang detalye. Charmaine?
Maya, abot sa mahigit 8,154 ang naitalang unplanned shutdown o biglang pagpalya ng mga planta ng kuryente sa Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao grids mula January hanggang June 2026 ayon kay Energy Regulatory Commission Director Sharon Montanier. Sa press conference ng ERC ngayong Thursday, sinabi ni Montanier na mahigit 535 lamang ang naitalang planned o nakaschedule na outages sa kaparehong panahon. Ipinapakita nitong mas marami ang mga hindi inaasang paghinto ng operasyon ng mga planta. Webes muli namang inilagay sa red at yellow alert status ang Visayas grid dahil sa manipis na supply ng kuryente bunga ng paghinto ng operasyon ng ilang malalaking planta at mataas na inaasahang demand. Naitala ang available capacity ng Visayas grid sa 2,561 megawatts habang umaabot sa 2,568 megawatts ang inaasahang peak demand. Samantala sa pulong balitaan, nagbigay rin ng update si ERC Director for Legal, Attorney Maria Corazon Guines, hinggil sa Magna Carta for Electricity Consumers. Kabilang sa mga tinalakay ang pagre-refund ng bill deposit ng mga consumer na nagbabayad ng kanilang buwanang electricity bill ng nasa oras. Gawin din ang mga patnubay sa meter installation at meter replacement. Bukod dito, inilahad din ang mga bagong patakaran na layong palakasin ang proteksyon sa mga consumer at tiyaking nasusunod ang tamang proseso bago maputulan ng serbisyo. May.
Thank you for that report, Charmaine Abong. Up next, El Salvador announces its biggest cocaine bust ever. That and more news around the world, plus the latest in sports when Midday Report returns.
Every peso tells a story, where it goes, and why it matters. We break down the way you spend, save, and decide. From rising prices to everyday choices, connect the headlines to your wallet.
I'm Robert Tan. From your wallet to the wider economy, join us as we follow the money.
Follow the money. Weekdays 10 a.m. only on Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Iran warns the United States it would retaliate if they're hit again after new U.S. strikes on its territory. In a social media post, Iran's chief negotiator said the U.S. would face consequences for what he described as bullying and breaking its commitments. He also warned the U.S., quote, "If you strike, you'll get hit." The U.S. military said it launched the strikes to keep the Strait of Hormuz open after attacks on 3 cargo ships.
We just hit them very hard. And I'd say we hit up 20 to 1. Every time they hit us, we're going to hit up 20. And we did it last night. It did a little something today, but it was really retribution for last night. They hit actually 3 boats, not 2. And what they hit, we hit back bush on them.
Iran has not claimed responsibility for the ship attacks. The latest exchange has raised fears that efforts to end the war have collapsed. The U.S. will allow Ukraine to produce Patriot interceptor missiles under license. President Donald Trump made the announcement during his meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the NATO summit in Turkey. Patriot missiles are used to defend against ballistic missile attacks. Ukraine has said it urgently needs more air defense as Russia steps up its missile strikes.
So one of the things we're going to be talking about is we're going to give a license to you to make Patriots. That's pretty cool, right? This way you can't complain that we're not giving them enough. I say make them yourself.
El Salvador has made the largest cocaine seizure in its history. The Navy confiscated 6.68 tons of cocaine from 2 boats off the country's Pacific coast. Officials said the drugs were worth more than $81 million. 6 suspects, including 2 Ecuadorians and 4 Colombians, were arrested. Justin Bieber will perform at the halftime show of the FIFA World Cup. Madonna, Shakira, and BTS will co-headline the show. Coldplay frontman Chris Martin is curating the 11-minute halftime show on July 19. It will raise funds to support education and football programs for children around the world. Characters from Sesame Street and the Muppets will also make an appearance. What started as a childhood dream has turned into a journey across continents, with French cyclist Adam DeVoe now hoping his story will inspire more Filipinos to chase big dreams of their own. Mark Patriarca has the story.
A childhood dream has taken French cyclist Adam DeVoe across continents. But he says the journey has always been about something bigger than reaching the finish line. The Cebu-born adventurer has spent more than 40 weeks cycling from France to the Philippines, crossing mountains, deserts, and multiple countries in a journey that has helped him discover his French and Filipino roots. DeVoe said what began as a childhood dream gradually turned into a life-changing adventure.
This really started when I was a kid and everyone was cycling during the pandemic. And my dream got bigger and bigger as I enjoyed cycling more and more. I wanted to do the Philippines when I was younger, but my mom said no. So the dream got bigger and now she's super proud.
DeVoe admitted he began the trip with very little planning, choosing to adapt to whatever challenges came his way as he crossed different cultures and landscapes. He said the journey also deepened his appreciation for the Philippines, as each country he visited brought him closer to his ultimate destination.
it's been the goal is to reach the Philippines, and I think through the journey, I got more and more excited about the Philippines because I slowly understood like what Philippines is to the context of the whole world.
Okay.
And it made me more and more excited to see the Filipinos.
Now, in the final stretch of his adventure, Devo said his biggest hope is that his story encourages more Filipinos to explore their own country and believe that ambitious dreams can become reality.
I think I'm just a simple kid. I think I'm just like everyone, and I want to show that like a lot of things are possible. Just with a bicycle, I was able to go everywhere, and I think I hope to inspire people my age, because they're like the future of the Philippines, that like anything's possible if you just keep trying.
Devo is expected to complete his journey in Cebu, where the adventure first began as a dream many years ago. Mark Patriarca, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The Philippines' dominant performance at the Singapore Youth Archery Championships is giving the national team new momentum as it sets its sights on bigger international competitions. Sheila Salaysay tells us more.
A renewed commitment from Filipino archers, backed by the vision of Philippine Sports Commission Chairman Patrick Gregorio, is beginning to transform the country's national archery program. Guided by world-class South Korean coaches, Team Philippines delivered its best ever performance in an international tournament, proving that discipline, preparation, and belief can produce historic results. I spoke with World Archery Philippines President Bing Report about the journey behind the breakthrough.
When Chairman Patol told me like we want to be the best here, get the best coach out there, so we got Coach Ryu and Coach Hong in to start working with the team now. So I think that is one of the biggest change that we've done. We've upgraded yung lahat ng technical skills after they did all the assessments of our archers.
Olympic winning coach Ryu Sujeng and former world champion Hong Sin-chil were brought in to reshape the national program. The historic campaign saw Team Philippines win 13 gold, 10 silver, and 7 bronze medals at the Singapore Youth Archery Championships, finishing ahead of traditional regional powerhouses including Chinese Taipei and Malaysia. The Filipino archers dominated the under-18 and under-21 recurve and compound team events, while several athletes also reached the individual finals. Among those who captured gold were Leila Jel Cano, Matthews Vaughn Johnson, and Abigail Jane Lim. For Report, however, the medals are just the result of something much bigger, a renewed commitment from the athletes to embrace a higher standard of training.
We were really, parang all of us were overwhelmed. No? It's really an overachievement. Hindi namin expect that we will get 30. In fact, hindi rin namin in-expect that Philippines will, kumbaga, we will dominate this tournament. Technically, tayo number one. We came home as the number one team coming home, no? Upsetting Chinese Taipei and Malaysia. So it's really a very big news. If you ask me, we overachieved.
The athletes underwent a more demanding training environment built around technical precision, detailed preparation, and constant evaluation. According to Report, the South Korean coaches introduced individualized training plans, allowing each athlete to improve based on his or her own strengths instead of following a single training model.
I think 101% or more than 100% binigay ng mga bata into this tournament. So we're very, very happy. It's really the discipline. It's really the discipline yung tinuturo nila, the technical skills na tinuturo nila. So yun talaga yung nakikita ko, the discipline. What they really did is they tried to simplify everything for the kids or even our training pool, yung seniors team natin. Talagang kinostomize nila, inisa-isa nila. So it's not one single standard for everyone.
World Archery Philippines is now extending that same culture of commitment to younger age groups through its grassroots development program. And it's about building a culture that will shape Philippine archery for years to come.
We look at SEA Games, we look at Asian Games, We also look into developing our grassroots because of the Cyclist Youth Games next year. Wherein, andyan yung under 13 natin. Nag-umpisa rin tayo sa under 15. Ngayon, we have to go deeper na into the under 13. And if we can also do the under 10. So we want to start building the foundation.
With the 12-member men's and women's recurve and compound national teams now preparing for the Asian Games this September, World Archery Philippines believes the country's recent success is only the beginning. Sheila Salaysay, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The road to the FIBA Women's Asia Cup 2027 has officially begun. Cebu has unveiled the tournament's official logo, a design that celebrates both the city's rich heritage and its biggest ever women's basketball event. Zeus Valdez of Abante has the story.
With just 1 year to go before the FIBA Women's Asia Cup 2027, Cebu has officially introduced the tournament's brand identity through a logo inspired by the host city's culture and traditions. The new logo features a stylized version of the FIBA Women's Asia Cup trophy, combining the championship's iconic shape with elements drawn from Cebu's official colors, city seal, and the Philippines' traditional weaving heritage. Its circular design symbolizes movement and the fast pace of basketball, while the interwoven patterns represent unity, craftsmanship, and Filipino identity. The logo launch marks another milestone in preparations for the continent's premier women's basketball tournament, which will be held at the new SM Seaside Cebu Arena from July 10 to 18, 2027. SBP Executive Director Erica D said the tournament will be a historic first for Cebu and a major step for Philippine basketball.
So we're very excited about it. It's a premier event of FIBA. And I know SBP has hosted a lot of other FIBA events in the past, but none yet here in Cebu City and none yet in the women's division. So this is the first time we're hosting a women's division event, and it's a special event because this FIBA Women's Asia Cup is actually the gateway for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics.
The tournament is expected to feature Asia's top women's national teams, with Gilas Pilipinas women set to enjoy home court advantage in front of Filipino fans. More than just a new logo, the unveiling signals the official start of Cebu's journey toward hosting one of the biggest women's sporting events ever staged in the Philippines, as the city prepares to welcome Asia's basketball elite in 2027. Zeus Valdez, Abante.
Musical is getting a lot of buzz as it's set to bring back the iconic disco era. Ava Zurich tells us more about Bongga Kaday, the Ani Batumbakal musical opening in September.
A celebration of Filipino music, theater, and nostalgia took center stage as the cast and creative team of Bongga Kaday, the Ani Batumbakal musical, met with the media. Held at the Grand Bar and Lounge of the Newport Grand Wing in Newport World Resorts, the cast also delivered special musical numbers, giving guests a taste of the high-energy performances, colorful characters, and timeless songs that will take audiences back to the disco era.
So far, it's just been great. The cast is amazing. Everyone's so warm. The creative team is super hands-on, and just a great team to have assembled to do something as big as this, combining a classic movie and classic OPM music. Great team, great actors. I'm very glad to be here.
Cast member Sam Concepcion shared his excitement about being part of the production and his favorite thing about their dynamics.
So nag-rehearse na kami kahapon for the press con, yung performance today. We did one script reading online kasi talaga nire-paso pa maigin nila yung script kasi you have to understand na 70s to early 80s yung concept nung musical na ito. So, the creative team, kailangan nilang din kahit papaano na makarelate pa rin yung audience today, especially the Gen Zs, yung mga kabataan na, okay, ito pala yung buhay ng nanay ko or ng parents ko or ng grandparents ko for that matter, na makaka-relate sila ng bonggang-bongga. So, yun naman, in-explain naman nila sa amin. But next week, we start rehearsal next week.
Meanwhile, John Lapos talks about what it's like working on the musical, sharing his enthusiasm for bringing his beloved story to a new generation of theater goers.
Ani Batong Bakal, Bongga Kaday, the musical featuring the songs of Hot Dog. It's going to be at the Newport Performing Arts Theater starting September 18, and we'll see you then.
With a star-studded cast, iconic music, and a story that celebrates Filipino pop culture, Bongga Kaday, the Ani Batong Bakal musical, is set to hit the stage this September. Avia Zunich, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
A big honor for singer-songwriter Sherin Reyes at Asia's Golden Icon Awards. She got the trophy for Asia's Icon of Excellence in Music and Entertainment. Actor Joseph Marco was also named Asia's Icon of Inspiration in Entertainment and Media. Asia's Golden Icon Awards recognizes leaders and organizations that inspire people and create impact on the community. Congrats to the winners. That's the Midday Report. I'm Mai Rodriguez. See you again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Stay informed and stay safe.